So good morning. I'm Cantor Lizzie Shammash coming to you from Philadelphia, and so happy that you're here with us in the online yoga studio, whether it is for the very first time or whether you've been with us many times. This is a really sacred, beautiful group that comes together each Monday to try to gain some wisdom in embodied Torah. So welcome on this fourth day of Kislev. A couple announcements from the Institute, and then we're going to start seated so you know where we're going. Registration is going to close this week for the next prayer project, which is Hitbodedut with Rabbi David Jaffe, and it begins November 14th. I think that's Sunday. Please check that out. If you've been kind of waiting and you're not sure, my vote is go for it. Rabbi David Jaffe is amazing, and the subject of Hitbodedut and conversing one-on-one with God every day is also an amazing practice. Really, so enriching. So if you're a little nervous or a little afraid, go for it. And also, please consider joining our year-long Torah study. Our text study this year is led by Rabbi Dr. Aaron Lieb-Smokler, and Adi has graciously put these links in the chat for you, and we'll do so again at the end, so don't worry. If you're just hopping on, a blanket, 2 blocks, a strap. So let's begin seated. Find a comfortable seat, whether it's the chair or blanket, or on the mat, propped up. You want a little bit of something under your hips. As always, we take a moment or two to land. You might rock a little bit side to side. You can even draw the flesh of the buttocks a little bit away from the sitting bones so that you feel those 2 sitting bones land evenly. Strong grounding for the pelvis. You can take your fingers out to the side like tent your fingertops and press those fingertops down as you roll the shoulders down and back, and feel that through that pressing down to the earth, the spine and the crown of the head can lift. And at once sending the spine in 2 directions. Just feel the up and the down. You can release the hands, take them back to center. Just take a couple of breaths, feeling what can happen in the torso as you find the length of the spine. Do we get any extra room for rib cage, diaphragm, freedom for the breath? Let's move it into a little bit of cat and cow, arching and curling. So as you inhale, rocking to the front of the pelvis, lift the chest, lift the heart, lift the gaze. And then as you exhale, belly to spine beginning to rock to the back of the pelvis. Let the mid-back draw back as if a string is pulling you back, and another string pulling the tailbone and the crown of the head forward. Make a really nice hollowed out C curve. And then again, inhaling, lifting. Keep this going in your own time. You don't have to follow my movement. Exhaling as we curl and inhaling as we arch. See if you can allow the movement to be guided by the pelvis, that the rock of the pelvis, the shift of the pelvis begins the movement. And the breath is a natural partner. It's like anila dodiva dodili. Breath and movement are lovers, are partners. Finding a sense of vitality and immediacy from this lovely movement of the spine. And we can notice where we feel open, where we feel stuck. And as you're ready, come back to center, come back to a neutral spine. Let the right ear drop to the right shoulder. Get some nice stretch across the left side of the neck. Maybe let the jaw go. A little bit of open and closing of the jaw. Head, neck, jaw, they're all just totally interwoven, interconnected. Inhale up to center, and then exhale left ear towards the left shoulder. And same thing, let the jaws be so easy. A little bit of open and close. And then come back to center. Walk those right fingertips out. Take a stretch to the side, just a kind of passive side stretch for this first stretch. Let that left hip stay down. Remain grounded. Just feel some passive opening through the left side of the rib cage. And then walk those fingertips in, come on up. And the same on the other side, walk the left fingertips out. And side bending to the left. Let the head go. Let the rib cage open, nice and bright on the right side. And then walk it back in. And we'll take it again, side bending. This time, if you like, taking the top arm with you. Either extending through the fingertips with the palm facing down towards the floor, or you might bend the elbow over the head. A little more active in that side bending. And you might circle the wrist a couple of times in each direction. Make a fist, stretch the fingers, open up the hand, bring some blood flow through that whole arm. And then inhale, come on up, we'll windmill it over to the other side. And once again, see where the top arm wants to go. So as always, I'm going to guide you through practice today with some instructions, some suggestions. If they don't work for you, just leave them to the side. You're always at choice to come out of something early, stay in something a little longer if it's quite delicious, or abandon it entirely if it's not for you and do something else. Inhale, coming on up. It's really your practice to design, and what our work is to feel from the inside. And now inhale the spine nice and tall, and as we exhale, take a twist to the right. See where the hands land. Just let them be there. Once again, sending the tail down, the crown of the head up on the inhale, and then working the twist on the exhale. Gently, just gently coming into what's perhaps the first twist of the day. And then inhale, come back through center. Continue to feel this height as you exhale and twist to the left. And then as you're ready, come back to the center. So that little piece, what we've just done, can be a complete yoga practice in and of itself. We've had lots of movement of the spine, what we call the 6 movements of the spine. We really had some vitalizing here just in that. So you could use that as 5-10 minute practice any day. And just a tip. So let's look to some Torah today. It's one of my favorite and probably for many others, very favorite Torah portion with some wisdom in it, Vayetze. So Jacob is on the run, of course, from Esav, right? Who's out to get him, who wants to kill him, because Jacob stole his birthright and then also his blessing from their father on Isaac's deathbed. And Jacob leaves Beersheba and he sets out for Lavan's house toward Haran. And he places a stone under his head, right? This iconic moment of Torah. He places a stone under his head. He goes to sleep. He has this dream. And in the dream, there's a ladder, a sulam, right? With the angels going up and coming down. The ladder, olim v'yordim bo. And God appears to him and he makes him the same promise that he made to Isaac before him and Abraham before that. And God says, I'm with you, I'll protect you, I won't leave you until I've done what I promised you, right? And Jacob wakes up from this dream and he says, God was in this place and I didn't know. Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh. God was in this place, makom hazeh, this place. Va'anochi lo yadati, but I didn't know. I wasn't aware. I wasn't paying attention. And then he says, he was in awe. He was in awe, and he says, "Ma nora hamakom hazeh." How awesome is this place? Again, hamakom hazeh. Ein zeh, this is nothing but ki im beit Elohim, but the abode of God. V'zeh sha'ar hashamayim, and this is surely the gate to heaven. And these 2 verses especially are sort of imprinted perhaps on our consciousness. Manora hamakom hazeh, ein zeh ki im beit Elohim v'zeh sha'ar hashamayim, right? So the word makom is actually repeated 5 times in here, in this. And we know that no word is overused in Torah. And the word zeh, over and over and over, this place, this moment, just this, hamakom hazeh. And it is, it's only when Jacob woke up from his dream that he notices, that he's really aware of the enormity and the elegance, beauty of this world he's in, right? I want to share some words from our teacher, Rabbi Alan Liu of blessed memory. He says, we are certainly mutzav artza. So now we're back to the sulam, the ladder. And as we just began class, this ladder of the spine, angels going up on the in-breath, angels coming down on the out-breath, right? This ladder of the spine is mutzav artza, is grounded, and also rosho, head, magia shamayma, reaching for the sky. So whatever plane we're in, this sulam, whether we're doing triangle pose, whether we're doing mountain pose, whether we're lying, it's still the same, a grounding down and a grounding up, in whichever plane. He says, we are certainly mutzav artza, bound both physically and existentially to our earthliness. Yet at the same time, our heads are magia shamayma, persistently reaching heavenward on every conceivable level. We're rooted to this earth by our physicality, he says, our somatic needs, our sexuality, our addiction to food and to the pleasures of the body. Yet something in us aspires to heaven. Something in us is always reaching beyond the limits of our earthliness. So in our yoga, we're always finding our grounding and simultaneously our extension. And we can breathe into that. And that's what allows us to start to find this sense of equanimity, starts to help us integrate, right? We're really seeking an integration of freedom. And finding this sense of an expanded sulam helps us to find a true felt sense, not a mind sense, but a felt sense, an understanding in the body of manora hamakom hazeh, right? How awesome is this very moment. So we're practicing again and again on our mat, on our cushion, whether it's a seated meditation or yoga meditation in motion. We're practicing the conditions for this to naturally arise, this wonder at manora hamakom hazeh. So Alan Liu, one more quote before we stand for Tadasana. He says, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, God was in this place and I didn't know. He says, so it is in meditation. We inhabit this very place. We enter into intimate relation with it. This very place. We inhabit the most basic elements of present tense reality, our breath, our body, and we fill these things with consciousness until they glow, until they become vibrant, radiant. And then this vibrancy fills us body and mind, and we walk through the world with it. That's the important part, right? That we take it off our mat, that we take it out into the world. And we walk through the world with it, awakening every moment from the dimly lit fantasy we've been caught in, all the mochin de katnut, all the small-minded things, right? We awake every moment from the dimly lit fantasy we've been caught in until now to a luminous, sacred world, a world suffused with the presence of God, a world worthy of our awareness, manora hamakom hazeh. So I want to focus today on awakening the spine, on finding that sense of mutzaf artsa magia hashamayma, which we can find and cultivate wherever we are. So let's come to stand. We're going to start with a couple of roll downs. Again, just awakening and livening the spine. Take the feet hip width apart. Inhale here. And as you exhale, take the chin down to the chest and keep going. Keep a slight bend of the knees. You can always hold on to something for some support for balance if you need. And roll down just as far as you're comfortable. If it's hands to the thighs, then you'll take forearms to the thighs and pause there. If you want to go further and let the head drop all the way down towards the floor and arms extended, you'll take it there. When you get to wherever is the bottom of where you are, take a nice deep inhale. Let it fill the belly and as well the lower back filled with breath. And on your exhale, start to drop the tailbone. Draw the belly to the spine. Let the core engage as you press the feet to the floor and start to roll up, stacking vertebra by vertebra. Going really slow, just feeling that stacking until you come all the way up. We're going to inhale at the top and exhale, start it again, beginning with the chin to chest. Feel like you can lift the spine up even as you roll down. Like you're lifting over yourself to roll down. The core is engaged, but not in any kind of rigid, hard way, but for support. When you get to the bottom again, inhale, feel the belly expand, feel the breath massage the low back. And as you exhale, once again, pressing the feet, drawing the navel towards the spine, dropping the tailbone, let it anchor you. Mutsav artsa with the feet, with the tailbone. And then as you come up, Rosho Magia Hashamayma, reaching up. And then bring the feet together for mountain pose. If that's not comfortable, continue with a wider stance. You can really take it either way. Find mountain pose, stable, even. Feel this sulam, this ladder that is the spine. Each rung, vertebra by vertebra, disc, intervertebral disc by disc by disc. And when I say feel, it's more of the mind's eye. And then we're going to take the arms overhead. Two options here. You can interlace fingers and take the arms up, or you can take your strap, hold the strap like so, and take the arms up. Either way. No stress for the shoulders. So you're going to want to do the strap and the wider stance if the shoulders are bothering you in any way. Long neck, swan neck. Good. Pull the strap apart. Engage it if you're using the strap. And if it's your palms, send them up towards the sky. And then bring it down. Give it a little shake out. If you're interlacing fingers, take them the other interlace, the opposite interlace. If you're using the strap, you'll just take it back up again. Feet evenly down, arms evenly up. Can you be a little softer in your breath and in your effort? And then as you are ready, release. We're going to take the two blocks or the chair or the table. We're going to do a forward fold so you know where we're going here. So if the hamstrings are very tight, you may want to have hands to a table, to a chair. If the hamstrings are a little more open, the blocks will be okay for you. The feet are hip width apart. Take the hands to the hips. Just ground those hips down, send the hips down. Lift the chest, make some space in the abdomen. Inhale here. Feet pressed down, Mutsav Artsa. Torso up, Magiya Hashamayim. And on the exhale, we're going to fold over, creasing at the hips, and take the hands to the blocks or the chair, or the table. We want a long spine. Right, so not a rounded spine, but a long spine, honoring the curves of the spine. Pause here, breathe. Hands are pressing down, thighs are drawing back. Lots of space in the low back. And between the shoulder blades, the back of the heart space, let it melt, let it drop. Let it hug the front body. Crown of the head, Magiya Hashamayim is going to be ahead of you, right? Lengthening. And Mutsav Artsa is the tailbone lengthening back behind you in this case, in this plane. And then as you're ready, if you're ready, let that come to a forward fold. Dropping down. Continuing to extend the crown of the head and the tailbone in opposite directions. And then if you like, coming back to that long spine. Just finding that length, draw the belly in, draw the belly towards the spine. Hands to the hips and come up. My yoga teacher this past week said something that was just like brilliant, brilliant, that I really want to pass on to you. Such a beautiful teaching, simple. Always in a forward bend, there's always back bend. There's always back bend in a forward bend. So what does that mean? There's always extension before we fold over. We don't just fold over like this, right? We fold over with this extension, which is, in part, back bend. That flat back, so to speak, has back bend so that we make space, right, before that forward bend. So I want to take it again. You're either going to take it the same way, or if you have more flexibility, and there's no extra points gained if you do, but if you have more flexibility, you might consider taking hold of the big toes with your first two fingers under the big toe and your thumb on top of the big toe and lengthening here to begin, right? So you might come all the way to here. You might be here. You might be higher. Once again, find that length. Find that back bend quality. Inhale, nice and long, and then exhale, folding over. If you're holding the toes, you're going to bend the elbows out to the sides as you draw the spine down. Right, so wherever you are, wherever is best for your body, in hamakom hazeh, in this place, that's what you'll do. That's what you'll go with. And then as you're ready, coming back to the flat back, bring the hands to the hips, inhale and come up. Really, really nicely done. Now we're going to take the legs wide and take the same forward bend. So you may want the chair, you may want a block or two blocks. Take the legs wide, hop or step them out. The outer foot parallel with the outer edge of the mat, then draw the toes in a little bit. Hands to the hips, ground those hips. Again, that sense of mutsav artsa now coming from the whole leg, right? From the top of the hip crest, that whole pelvis, leg, down. Inhale the heart up, Magia Shamaima, and then fold from the hip crease. Hands to the blocks or the chair or the mat. Right? We want to again find that flat back, that back bend quality here. Pause here, breathe gently. Make sure you have a micro bend on those knees at the very least. And then as you're ready, inhale and come on down all the way if you like. And if you're doing so, fingertips in line with the toes, elbows toward each other, head might come to the chair or block or to the mat. Stamp the heels down, lift the sitting bones up. Right, that simultaneous extension in opposite directions. We won't stay too long. As you're ready, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, press into the feet to come on up. Lift up. And then exhale, back to neutral, back to mountain pose. Just pause for a moment. Feel the effects, the echo of those poses. Notice how is it right here, hamakom hazeh, in this place, in this offering of body, breath, heart. So allowing that natural gratitude to arise, gratitude for being alive, being here, being able to practice, whatever is showing up in practice. Whatever is showing up in practice is welcome. It's just how it is. It's zeh. It's this. We're going to come to the floor. I'm going to come to lie on our backs. Have your strap with you. So we're going to take the right leg up, and you have a few options here, right? You can take the strap, take the foot to the strap, and either keep the standing leg bent or lengthened, right? We're going to start with the left knee, the right leg extended, and either left knee towards the ceiling or left leg extended. Or you have another option here with the strap. And it depends, if your hamstrings are tight and if your strap isn't long enough, this may not work for you. Mine's an 8-foot. But if you do have the option for this, I want to suggest this one. It's really nice, where you take the strap under your shoulders, like under your armpits here, and then up to the heel, and make sure the tail, you can pull it down this way. It's over here by the side of the ankle, right? And I'm extending up. So if this is available to you, try it. And if not, just work the other way. It's no problem. You can also, of course, have that left foot, that standing foot at the wall to really engage the standing leg, as it were. Right, so that's your sense of mutsav artsa here, right? And this is your sense of magia shamaima. So this spine and the extensions of the spine all the way to the heel, right? And all the way to the crown of the head. Extending. Right leg going up, and if it's, you can loosen or tighten on the strap. And you want to see too that you have the integrity in the hips, that the right hip is not hiking up, right? So don't try to be a hero for looks or anything, right? Your right sitting bone, your right hip, it's extending. Hips are even. So if you have the strap as I do, which frees up your arms, you can bend your elbows, kind of like you're reclining in the sun. Just take your hands behind your head. And as your hands are behind your head, you can palpate with your fingers where the base of the skull meets the softness of the neck. Just give yourself a little massage, a little opening to the back of the neck. Just reminding the body to just calm down a little. Right, you can give a lot of messages here from where these trapezius muscles attach here. And then with your thumbs, you can even give a little pull to the skull. Just take the head away. Really, literally, rosho, magia hashamayma, just away, lengthen. Notice what you feel as you do that. And then you can relax the whole thing, let the head relax down in that expanded state. Notice how it is in this moment. Hamakom hazeh. And then as you're ready, we're going to switch. So left foot up and the right foot long. Or the right knee bent, sole of the foot to the floor. So switch it out. Again, you can tighten or loosen with the strap. And then you might once again take the hands to the back of the head. Release the head away from the and place it back down. breathe slowly, evenly. Inhale and exhaling through the nose. Just see if you can lengthen it a little, even it out. Allow the breath to be calm. Right, and if the breath is agitated in any way, you probably are pushing yourself too hard. You want to back out of the stretch. Right? Allow the breath to be your teacher in that way. And then as you're ready, release the left foot from the strap. And bend the knees in toward the chest. Roll it over to your side to sit up. We're going to take the blanket, or you can roll up the mat to make a little height for your hips. The tighter your hamstrings, the higher you're going to want to sit. So legs are extended in front of us. And again, if the hamstrings are really tight, you're going to want to even bend the hamstrings. Maybe take another blanket roll and place it under the knees. Right, so pay attention most particularly to accommodating the opening of your low back. That's what's really important here. So basically we did this pose standing, and now we're doing the same pose sitting, more or less. Feet are flexed. You can even spread the toes. And take the hands to the blanket beside you. Press the hands down. Mutsav Artsa, this whole foundation. Lift the crown of the head up. Rosho Magia Hashamayma. So find that. And it's supported by, again, by the core. By a gentle support, drawing in and up. Good, you might stay right here. This might be your whole practice. It might be plenty. Or you might start to come forward. We can use the strap. Or if your hands reach your toes, you can reach there. But for most of us, probably, it's grab the strap, take the strap around the feet, and what we want to come out of is this, right? So if we're here, and this is really challenging for us, then our work is to pull the strap and draw on the strap so that we can come up. Right, or work toward it, right? Small wins each day. So pulling the strap toward us and drawing the sacrum in to hug the front body, and lifting the heart. And then if it's available to you, if you like, you can start to come forward. So using the inhale, again, to find that back bend quality, that lift, the back of the heart coming forward, and using the exhale to fold a little bit. The inhale to lengthen, and the exhale to fold a little bit more. And the inhale to lengthen, and the exhale to fold. And gently in this way, coming forward to a seated forward bend, to whatever extent you wish. Now, eventually, the back does round. Of course it does. But we want to find as much length for those discs as we can. So investigating into your own forward fold or seated staff pose. As you're ready, coming on up. And then we'll lay it down. And hug the knees into the chest. You can rock it a little bit side to side. Good. Place the soles of the feet on the floor. Shift the hips just a little bit over to the left. Inhale the right knees in towards the right knees, the knees into the chest, and exhale the knees over to the right. That's what I meant about right. Taking a little twist here, arms out by the shoulders, extended at shoulder height. Keeping that left shoulder grounded. You can place a block between the knees if you like. Give a little ease to the outer left hip. Let's feel that nice tonic to the abdominal organs. The twist is so healthy for the digestion, for bringing blood to the abdominal organs. As you're ready, come on up. Place the feet back down. Shift the hips just an inch or two to the right. Inhale the knees in. Exhale, drop them over to the left. Let the neck and the head be easy. And then as you're ready, bringing it back to center. Once more, giving the knees a little hug or a little rock side to side or circles with the knees. And then we come into stillness, extending out fully on the mat or drawing the knees up toward the ceiling, soles of the feet to the floor, or resting the lower legs on the chair. Also a nice option for Shavasana. The calves on the chair is a beautiful option if your lower back is bothering you in any way, or just to give it some extra TLC. If you're wearing glasses, take them off. Let the arms rest by your sides, about 8 to 10 inches from your sides. Let the palms face up and the shoulder blades draw under you. Mano raha makom hazeh. Through this discipline, this training, this effort of the yoga practice, going from the state of Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh ve'anochi lo yadati. God was here. I didn't know. Going from that place, that as Alan Luce says, that fantasy, that waking up from that dream to the space of Mano raha makom hazeh. How awesome is this place? It is nothing less than Sha'ar HaShamayim, the gateway to heaven. And it's not only available to some people, it's available to me right now, to all of us, to each of us. Just allowing the body to have some stillness, take in this teaching. Manora hamakom hazeh. 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 And beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes and wake up the body, extend open. As you're ready, roll onto one side and pause in a fetal position. And then taking your time, press up to a comfortable seat. You might take a hand to the heart. Just notice how you're feeling at this moment. Manora hamakom hazeh. Manora hamakom hazeh. Manora hamakom hazeh. How awesome is this place, is this moment? It's rooting as we close a kavanah, an intention to take through the week to cultivate the conditions, a tall spine, a lengthened spine, a rooted spine that will help to create conditions for us to wake up, for us to notice the luminosity of this place, of this moment. You can release your hand and allow the eyes to open. Shavua Tov. Wishing you all a great week. I'm here for 10 minutes or so more for questions and discoveries. Mona, let's start
Hi.
with you.
Hi, Lizzie. How are you? How you feeling?
I'm good, Mona. Thank you.
Lizzie, I wanted to know what was the name of Rabbi Lou's, of that book of Rabbi Lou's, that particular book?
Yes, that's the original book. That's the original book. It's called Be Still and Get Going. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank
Be
you.
Still and Get Going, a Jewish meditation practice for real life. And there's a whole little section on Vayetze in it.
Okay.
And it's a must.
Thank you.
Let me put it
He's
in the
wonderful.
chat
I heard
for you.
him speak when he was, years ago. So thank you very much. And it was a wonderful practice.
I'm glad. Here we go. Be still and get going. And the chant for Manoraha Makom Hazeh, many of you may know it. That is Rabbi Shefa Gold. And there are three parts actually to that chant. That was just the melody line. And you can look for it on her website, which I think is rabbishefagold.com, and all her chants are listed there. You can look them up.
Well, have a wonderful week and thank you.
You too. Jody.
Hi, this was wonderful. I was in the prayer project, not the prayer project, but the meditation, extended meditation last week. And when Rabbi Sam talked about this transition period beginning to bring the body up to connect with God. And something extraordinary for me happened at that time. And what happened is linked with my image of the angels going up and down Jacob's ladder. I found myself just like my arms were, I just gathered and reached up. And it was during the meditation. So it was totally spontaneous, I guess, or I don't know what you'd call it. But at that same time, I'm thinking about connecting that in and out phase with the angels. Does that make any sense?
Why not? Of course. I mean, somebody mentioned that yesterday, the sense of, Yordim, Olim v'Yordim, the angels going up and coming down on that ladder, right? The breath rising and falling on that ladder. I say, of course, because we all work differently with our senses and our imagination and our visualization. So for somebody that might not make any sense to them, but oh, I lost you. Oh, you went to another tile all of a sudden, Jody. As somebody, I think sometimes when people leave, the tiles rearrange. Throws me off.
I didn't leave. I'm still here.
I was looking at you, and then you were somewhere else. So yes, if that works, that is so beautiful, and it's mystical, and it's so special. What an incredible, like, really, that every in-breath and every out-breath can be your angel,
I,
right?
I just wanted, I asked you yesterday, but it was on Gail Greenfield's chat to, if I could see if you could send me in Dropbox maybe what we did yesterday, and then I'll get out of the way and let other people ask questions.
Sure. Orit and Chana and Bill and Sandy. Go for it, Orit.
Hi, it's me. Can you hear? It's Orit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. My picture is not so great and
That's okay.
I can't video today. But I have a question. In Hebrew, the word Noah also means terrible or awful.
Or terrifying.
So when does awful or terrifying, when does that turn into awe instead of an awful place? A place of awe versus an awful.
I think the word is both, right? And is Hebrew your first language, Orit?
Yes and no, but I grew up speaking Hebrew. Yeah, so I'm
okay. So
Israeli.
you may have more connection even, right, to the word Noah. I think that it's both, right? We in Unetana Tokef, for instance, right? That word Noah is there, and the idea of the day of judgment and the angels kind of terrified, right?
Yeah.
But what was your question? Like when does it change?
Yeah, like when you were chanting, it was a beautiful chant, and to think about, I don't know, the place that I'm in, or was in, is it a place of awe, which is very different than a place of awfulness or terror, or
Yeah.
So I just want to know, when did Noah turn into a negative? One's negative and one's positive, right? So I think
Yeah.
I stumped you. I don't know. I've been wondering about
No,
that
you
for a long
didn't.
time.
No, you didn't stump me. I feel like I have to think about it and
Okay. Me too.
and go to sources a little more too, because I feel like it is used in both ways, right? And are we making an unfair leap to say Noah is something awesome in a positive way? It's a really good question.
I'll look it up too. Here, a picture popped up. So thank you.
Yeah. Hannah.
Let's see, there we go. People were talking about yesterday. Do you do this every day? And is it the same?
No, I wish I did it every day. So on Sundays I teach a public class that's a paid class, and it's 90 minutes. And it's basically like, you know, twice the length, obviously, of the Monday session. So generally, it's sort of like the longer extended play version. And I'm putting my email here. If you'd like to get on the mailing list for that, just pop me an email. That goes for anyone. It's open to everyone. It's sliding scale, $12 to $20. And we just have a little more time. It's not a harder class, it's just a longer class. And in some ways, it's an easier class, I think, because it lets your body really kind of fall into things. And sometimes we can go a little further with our poses.
Okay. My thought on that last question was, isn't it kind of like wow? I mean, wow can be sort of both bad and good at the same time. Like maybe a duality or a, you know, there's another word for it, but I can't think of it. But anyway, sort of like, you know, awesome, but, you know, awesome both ways. Anyway, that's my thought.
I like that. Thank you. And a couple things in the chat from Lori. Not about judging, not good or bad, not positive or negative, a large feeling of overwhelm. That's a nice take. And from Devora, we can be attracted to the awesome, like staring at the power of a wave, a fire, both terrifying and mesmerizing. Those are great examples, you know, like recently I was at the Atlantic and it was, the waves were kind of big and scary, but I also wanted to go into them. And I did. But there's a feel like you could also die in those waves, you know, but it's also so refreshing. So I thank you, Devora, both terrifying and mesmerizing. Bill, and then Sandy, and then I think we're probably done with time.
Oh, I wanted to thank you. For some reason,
I can barely hear you.
For some reason, this class was more relaxing than most other classes. And I want to thank you for that.
I'm glad. This class was more relaxing for you than other classes. So maybe your hamstrings are nice and open, and for you it felt like a no big deal kind of class.
Thank you.
But good, I'm glad it landed that way. Wonderful, wonderful. News from our octogenarian, always helpful to us. Our elder, thank you, Bill. Sandy.
Hi, love the class, love the chant. And an observation is when you had us lifting our arms and you said, like you're being a ladder. I am a very short person and I actually felt a teeny bit taller. I felt that standing up and with the arms, it really was a really good feeling.
Good. So you got some length that helped you feel like you take up more space in a positive way.
Yes.
Good.
I'll try that again.
Good. You know, another thing is to just stand and place your hand on the top of your head and feel like press up into your hand. Lengthen your spine up to your hand.
Thank you so much.
I feel immediately how much my neck especially lengthens, right? Really from the root of the thoracic, we can lengthen and open. Okay. Well, let's see. Marilyn, one last one.
Thank you. This was a wonderful practice, and I loved your singing, and the chant brought me back. I haven't heard this chant for like, I don't know, more than 12 years when I was in spiritual direction training. And
Nice.
to that moment, and it was such a wonderful memory and so beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, good. And it's an easy one. It's an easy one to allow to stay with you. I'm so glad.
I was trying to
Great.
remember how do you chant it, and then you just started singing.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, friends, it's good to see you. Take good care. Stay well.